All right, so we're going deep on comedy club websites today. Not just how to make them, exist, but how to make them actually work. Pull people in, get those tickets selling.
Yeah, got to capture that live comedy energy, but online, not exactly the easiest thing to do, right?
Nope, definitely not. But luckily, we've got this piece by Site Design NOW. They're the web design pros, especially down in Australia.
Yeah.
So they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they actually call it building an engaging and profitable platform. Pretty much sums it up perfectly, I think.
For sure. Profitable is the key word there. So they lay out these 5 key features for a killer comedy club website. We're going to break them down one by one, see why they matter.
Think of it like our cheat sheet to a website that's already got people laughing before the show even starts,
I love it. Okay, feature number 1, comprehensive event listings. Sounds pretty basic, but I'm guessing there's more to it.
Oh, definitely. More than you'd think. Imagine you're all excited for a show, head to the club. Turns out it was canceled weeks ago.
Oh, that's the worst.
Total buzzkill, right? Dynamic calendars are the fix for that. Make sure the info is always up to date. No one shows up to an empty club.
Smart, and it protects the club's rep, too. No one wants to be known for having, outdated info. Speaking of which, they mention Australian accessibility standards. That really stood out to me.
Yeah, they go beyond just, checking boxes. Talking screen readers, keyboard navigation, all that. Really thinking about inclusivity so everyone can get to that show info.
Yeah, it's those little details that show they care, Okay, on to feature 2. Engaging performer bios. This is where we move past just logistics and get into selling the experience, right?
Totally. You're not just listing names, you're building excitement. And Site Design and Now You Know's a boring old bio won't cut it. They suggest using videos. Let the audience sample the comedian's style.
That's so smart. It's like offering a little sneak peek of the humor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Way more effective than just some paragraph about their act.
Absolutely. If you get a taste of their humor and you love it, you're way more likely to buy a ticket, right?
Makes a website like a dynamic preview of the show.
Awesome. Okay. Feature number 3, seamless online ticketing. We've all been there, struggling with a crappy website when all you want to do is buy your tickets.
Yeah, and nowadays everyone wants instant gratification. Clunky checkout. Kiss of death.
Especially for something fun like a comedy show, right?
Exactly. Got to be secure, easy to use, handle one ticket or a whole group, no problem.
Makes sense.
And again, they talk about those Australian regulations for e-commerce. Might seem small, but it shows they're legit, protecting customer data.
Builds trust and ultimately leads to more sales, right? All right. Feature number 4 is one of my faves. Visual storytelling through club photos.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Powerful way to show the vibe of the club, photos of packed shows, people cracking up, the stage itself.
Yeah, you can practically hear the laughter.
Yeah.
Just by looking at the pictures. And they mention highlighting that local feel, especially for Logan clubs. I thought that was interesting.
Right, that local touch is important. Connects with the community, shows what makes that club unique.
Yeah, makes people feel like they belong there. Okay, last but not least, feature number 5, convenient group bookings. Comedy's a social thing, so got to make it easy for groups, right?
For sure. Birthdays, work events, friend groups, they all want a good night out. And Site Design and NowW suggests easy online booking for groups, maybe even some special deals. Make it a no-brainer.
Makes sense. The easier it is, the more likely they are to book there. It's about removing any friction, making the whole thing enjoyable.
Exactly. So there you have it. The 5 features for a comedy club website that doesn't just exist, but actually thrives. Out of all of them, what do you think has the biggest impact?
That's a good question. I'm really drawn to those video bios, letting the audience sample the humor before they commit. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's really thinking outside the box. Anyone can list names and dates, but giving people a taste of the actual comedy, that's next level.
And it plays into that whole fear of missing out thing, too. If you see a comedian you love performing there, you don't want to miss out, so you grab those tickets.
Yeah.
But I'm also a huge fan of the visual storytelling through photos.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's not just information. It's about evoking a feeling. Those photos should make you want to be there, laughing along with everyone, capture that unique energy of the club.
Exactly. And speaking of capturing that energy, they don't just talk about these features in isolation. They also emphasize professional web design to bring it all together.
Yeah, they have a whole section on that. Makes sense. You can have the best features in the world. But if the website itself is a mess, it's all for nothing.
I read somewhere that people decide what they think about a website in, milliseconds.
Oh, yeah, it's true. We see so much online these days. If it doesn't grab us instantly, we're moving on.
So a professionally designed website isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, especially for a business like a comedy club that lives and breathes online.
Exactly. The website is often the first impression. Got to be engaging, easy to use, look good, work on phones, computers, everything. Load quickly, the whole package.
Right. Sounds like Site Design MUW gets that. They talk about tailoring designs to specific needs, like attracting locals, which is huge for comedy clubs.
Yeah, that local focus is key. And they really seem to understand that. They mention Australian market requirements, too. Probably reassuring for businesses down there.
Totally. With all the regulations they mention, it makes sense. Accessibility for the listings, e-commerce rules for tickets, even specific standards for group bookings.
Shows they're not just about pretty websites, they're thinking about the legal side, too, which builds trust with customers.
And let's be real, if you're not following the rules, it can hurt your website's ranking, meaning fewer people will even see it.
100%. It's all connected. But beyond all the technical stuff, what I find really interesting is how Site Design NOW brings it back to the big picture, building a successful comedy club business.
Yeah. They emphasize that the website isn't just a thing on its own. It's a tool to get more people in the door, boost ticket sales, build a loyal audience, create a brand.
And they talk about visual storytelling, both with photos and videos, to give people that feeling of, I gotta be there.
It's about emotion, not just information.
Mm-hmm.
I love that line, setting the stage for your club's online success.
Yeah, perfect analogy, right? Just like a real stage sets the mood for the show, the website sets the stage for the entire customer journey.
Love it. So it's not just about checking boxes and features. It's about creating that whole online experience that reflects the heart and soul of the comedy club.
Exactly. Make the website an extension of the brand, a digital version of everything it stands for.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Essential features, professional design, the big picture of the website as a strategic tool. But before we wrap up, what's the one key takeaway you want our listener to walk away with?
I think it boils down to this. Your website is more than just an online presence. It's a reflection of you, your brand, your values, your commitment to your customers.
I love that. It's a statement, not just a website.
Exactly. And whether you're a comedy club or a completely different type of business, investing in a well-designed, user-friendly website is everything. It's about creating an online experience that truly reflects you.
So it's not just checking off features. It's about infusing the website with personality and purpose.
Precisely. Make your website an extension of your brand, a digital embodiment of everything you stand for. Because when you do that, you create a connection that goes beyond the screen.
It makes you think about all the other businesses that could benefit from this approach. This deep dive into comedy club websites. It actually reveals some universal truths about what makes any website work.
Yeah, I see that.
It's about clear and engaging content, easy-to-use design, laser focus on what the customer wants. Those principles apply whether you're selling tickets or running an online store.
Totally. Think about a restaurant, mouth-watering food photos, highlighting amazing reviews, maybe even online ordering built right in.
Ooh, or like a cool local boutique. Their website could tell their brand story, introduce the team, use visuals to show off their style.
Even something like a financial advisor. You might think it's boring, but they could use their website to share valuable content, answer common questions, really establish themselves as the experts.
It's about changing the mindset from just having a website to really using it strategically.
Yeah, we get stuck thinking of websites as static brochures, but they can be so much more dynamic.
This deep dive showed us that even simple things can have a huge impact, like those dynamic event calendars or the engaging performer bios.
It's all about putting yourself in the customer's shoes. What would make this website valuable to us? What info do I need? How can they make this as easy and enjoyable as possible?
So to wrap things up, the key takeaway here is that your website is a powerful tool, and it's worth putting in the effort to make it exceptional.
Go beyond the basics. Think about how your website can tell a story, build community, create an experience people will remember.
Make sure it reflects your business so every visitor understands who you are and what you stand for.
Well said. Ask yourself, what story do I want to tell? What experience do I want to create?
Let those questions guide you, and you'll be well on your way to creating a website that truly shines. And that's it for our deep dive into Comedy Club website essentials. We hope you found it insightful. And we'll see you next time for another fascinating deep dive. Honestly, for me, it's those video bios. Letting people actually see the comedian's humor before they buy a ticket. That's genius.
It's a way to really stand out, you know?
Yeah, anyone can just list names and dates. But a taste of the actual comedy, that's different.
Exactly.
And it plays into that fear of missing out thing. If you see a comedian you love and they're at that club, you're way more likely to grab tickets before they're gone.
Makes sense.
I'm also loving the whole visual storytelling thing with photos, really sets the scene.
Yeah, it's not just about information. It's about feeling like being there, laughing with the crowd.
Totally. And speaking of capturing that energy, they don't just talk about these features on their own. They also emphasize professional web design to tie it all together.
Oh, right. Yeah, they have a whole section on that.
It makes sense you could have the best features. But if the website itself is clunky, it's pointless.
Totally agree.
I swear I read somewhere that people form an opinion about a website in milliseconds.
Oh, absolutely. It's true. We're so bombarded with stuff online. If a website doesn't grab you right away, you're gone.
So professional design isn't just a nice to have. It's essential, especially for a comedy club. They rely so much on online presence.
It's their storefront, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be engaging, easy to navigate, look good, work on phones, computers, all that.
And load quickly. Can't forget that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No one's waiting around for a slow website.
It seems like Site Design NW really gets that. They talk about tailoring designs to specific needs, like attracting local clientele, which is huge for comedy clubs.
Yeah, that local focus is key. And they also mention, understanding Australian market requirements, probably a big selling point for businesses down there.
Yeah, with all the regulations they mentioned, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Accessibility for the listings, e-commerce rules for ticketing, even specific standards for group bookings. It's a lot.
It shows they're not just slapping together pretty websites. They're thinking about the legal side, too.
Which is important for building trust with customers. Yeah, and honestly, if you're not following the rules, it can really hurt your website's ranking, meaning fewer people will even find it.
Definitely, it all comes back to that. But what I find really interesting, beyond the technical stuff, is how they connect it all back to the bigger picture, building a successful comedy club business.
Yeah, they emphasize that the website isn't just a standalone thing. It's a tool to get more people in the door, sell more tickets, build that loyal audience, create a brand.
It's all connected.
I love that line they use, setting the stage for your club's online success.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's such a perfect analogy.
Just like a physical stage sets the mood, the website sets the stage for the entire customer journey.
Exactly. So it's not just about checking boxes. It's about creating a whole online experience. That reflects what the comedy club is all about.
Yeah, it's got to be an extension of the brand, a digital version of everything they stand for.
Right. It has to have that personality.
For sure. It can't just be generic.
Okay. So we've talked about a lot. Essential features, professional design, the big picture of using the website as a strategic asset. But before we move on, what's the one key takeaway you want our listener to remember?
I think it comes down to this. Your website is more than just an online presence. It's a reflection of you, your brand, your values, your commitment to your customers.
It's a statement, not just a website.
Exactly. And that goes for any business, not just comedy clubs. Investing in a well-designed, user-friendly website is crucial. It's about creating an online experience that truly reflects you.
So it's about infusing the website with that personality and purpose.
Precisely. Make your website an extension of your brand, a digital embodiment of everything you stand for. Because when you do that, you create a connection that goes beyond the screen.
Makes you think, what other businesses could use this approach for their website?
This whole deep dive into comedy clubs kind of shows some universal truths about good websites in general.
It's all about clear content, easy design, and focusing on the customer. Whether you're selling tickets or, running an online store.
Right, imagine a restaurant. They could have amazing food photos, highlight those rave reviews, even have online ordering built right in.
Oh, or a cool little boutique. Their website could tell their story, introduce the team, use visuals to show off their unique style,
Even something like a financial advisor, which you might think is kind of dry, but they could use their website to share advice, answer questions, establish themselves as the experts.
It's about changing how we think about websites, from just having one to really using it as a tool to grow.
We get stuck thinking of them as those boring online brochures, but they can be so much more dynamic.
This deep dive showed us that even simple things can be game changers, like those event calendars or the performer bios.
It all comes down to, thinking like the customer. What would I want from this website? What info do I need? How can they make this whole thing easy and enjoyable?
So wrapping it all up, the key takeaway is Your website is a powerful tool. It's worth putting in the effort to make it amazing.
Yeah, go beyond the basics. Think about telling a story, building community, creating an experience people will remember.
Make sure it reflects who you are as a business, so anyone who visits understands what you're all about.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Ask yourself, what story do I want to tell? What experience do I want to create?
Let those questions guide you, and you'll create a website that truly shines. And that's a wrap for our deep dive into Comedy Club website essentials. Hope you found it insightful. We'll catch you next time for another fascinating deep dive.